Hey, Bobby, did you know that Elon Musk bought Twitter?
What?
I know. Nobody's really talked about
The guy
it.
from Tesla?
Yeah.
The SpaceX guy?
Yeah.
The Boring Company guy?
Yeah.
Who made the flamethrowers?
Yeah.
The guy who from PayPal?
Yeah, that guy that
Him?
like, nobody really knows about him.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
He bought Twitter.
Why'd he buy Twitter?
Nobody knows.
Is he a social media expert?
No. He has no background in social media.
Do you think
he
he's-
uses social media.
How much is he worth?
I don't
You think he's a millionaire?
I think he's built. Isn't he billions now?
Like a couple $100 billion, I believe.
100 billion?
Pretty sure he's the richest legal person
I thought that was
on
Bill
Earth.
Gates.
He's got more than Gates.
He's got more than Gates.
Gates spent all his money on farmland.
Let me preface this episode by saying we're filming this in the middle of Thanksgiving week. So
Yes.
this will be airing the week after Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a lovely Thanksgiving and spent time with family. But right now we were waiting for some of our family to leave the house so that we would have our basement back to ourselves to film this. But also they've been here for a couple days already. And I haven't gotten to structure the episode as much. And when I asked Bobby, hey, what topic should we do this week? Because I have to try and figure out talking points while everybody's here. And he said Twitter, and I said no. And then we did.
And then I said yes. And Lauren said, okay.
And so here we are. Today's Twitter is creepy, and I'm wearing my Twitter. I got this from Twitter like years ago.
2019,
At
2020,
VidCon.
2019,
I think 2018.
2018. Yeah.
I got this. I'm wearing a Twitter hoodie with my Twitter username on the back. But I thought it would be good before we dive into the madness that is Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that was the other reason. I was like, it's kind of just social media in general, but we did a YouTube is creepy episode.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's only right. We're just going to go through every social media. at some
MySpace
point.
is next.
Oh my God, we should do a MySpace
We're gonna have
episode.
Tom on.
I miss MySpace.
Tom's
we
gonna
didn't
come
know
on.
what we had until it was gone.
Tom knew. He saw the future.
He knew.
He got out.
Like when you use Twitter, what
Currently,
do you use it for, and how does it make you feel? I guess.
what do I use it for? All right, let's go with some good aspects of Twitter.
Yeah, that
Um,
we're in the good.
So we always
normal
start off
space
good.
right now. Don't
We
go into
always
the dark.
tease you
I know
in with
it's
the good.
easy.
Joined February of 2010, so over 12 years on Twitter.
Jeez.
It's a long time. So initially for me, I started using Twitter mostly for like sports and music news
Okay.
because I was doing the same thing on Facebook, but I found Twitter was a little like more instant with stuff.
Okay.
And a little more direct from the source because there was a lot of guys for like football and NFL who would just tweet out things, news, players were injured, and then music. There was like Enemy and Spin. I followed all those companies, and then like the bands and the artists. It's cool. It started out really cool because you got the word directly from the mouth, like either from the players or the teams or the musicians. It came right from them. So you'd find out news or info right away from them. So it wasn't like filtered down. You didn't have to go to a website to read it. You still kind of do that, but things have changed a little bit from how it started, at least for me. Then I think I started using a little more because we started, you started doing YouTube and we became friends with content creators. So it was a way to like check in with them, see what they're up to, follow like trends and stuff and what's going on and kind of be on the up and up with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then it kind of has changed to like, then when I got really into Destiny, I started following a lot of the Destiny 2 content creators and news about that.
So you use it as a news source.
So it's pretty much, yeah. So my friends,
Summarize.
my friends make fun of me because I said Twitter is the best news source because you get it directly from the source. It's coming, directly from a reporter. It's not, you don't have to go to a website, and it's coming. It ideally is coming right from someone like you're following them, so
quotes, air
you know who
quotes.
they are. It's just easily digestible, quick information. And I've been enjoying it for a long time. And I still do a little bit. Maybe things have changed a lot in the last 12 years.
So Twitter is like, when Twitter was imploding last week, I was like, of all the social media that I use, I feel like Twitter is the one I could say goodbye to and be fine.
Same.
I'd be like, all right, bye. Like, I can figure out how to do without you. I feel like if one of the other social medias went away, I would have a little more of an issue.
Yeah, when the musket, as my friends and I like to call
The
him,
musket.
Elon the musket.
Elon the musket.
Musket. When he bought it, I was really hoping he would just delete it because he said he wanted to like make it better for society. So I thought he was gonna just be like, and it's
troll
gone.
it.
That would have been the ultimate like move. He just is
I
like,
feel
all
like
right,
it doesn't
everyone.
matter though, because somebody's gonna make it again.
Oh, did you get a Hive account?
Oh God. No,
That's the flavor of
no,
the
I
week?
didn't actually because
By the
someone took
time
my
this
username.
podcast goes out, no one will be talking about Hive anymore. If you don't know what Hive is, it's some other social media thing that this happens every couple
Yeah, I'm
of years.
trying to remember the last time this happened.
What's his name? James told me what it was called. Where is
The
it?
last one, because I do remember there was one I did sign up for and then never used again, just in case. So I usually try to sign up for the things just to secure my username. So when I saw people jumping on Hive, I jumped on just to see if somebody had stolen my username, and somebody did. So
Yeah.
if you see a Lauren Z side on Hive, it's not me. But I use Twitter.
Yeah, what do you use it for?
Like nothing now. So I used to use it. When you brought that up, I remembered the reason I started really using Twitter was because when I would go to YouTube events, people would after I would meet other creators, they'd say, "Oh, what's your Twitter?" And then we'd follow each other and we'd be able to DM, and that was like our main way to connect with one
Yeah,
another.
because no one was using Facebook anymore because the boomers ruined Facebook.
Nobody was using Facebook. Well, I never used Facebook really when I was in the industry. It was always, I guess, Twitter. Twitter was like the main thing that people connected on.
Yeah.
And then the last creator summit I just went to, everybody was asking for each other's Instagram. Nobody was using Twitter. Like I said, and I said to somebody, like, this is really weird. Usually people are asking for each other's Twitters and people are like, oh, I don't use Twitter. It's too negative. I feel like the younger generation is like, I'm not using that. That's too negative. I can't bring those vibes into my life.
Yeah, I think the younger
But
generation.
the older generation is like, nah, I want those negative. I like doom scrolling.
Yeah, the younger generation is a little more conscious
cares about
of their mental health and a little more. Whereas like our generation's like, we're already in it.
It's too late for us. Save
Our
yourselves.
parents gave us that glutton for punishment and want to just suffer.
I'm not on Twitter for long nowadays. I'll open it and I'll go to the trending tab just to see if there's any breaking news stuff because I don't really know where else to. I could probably figure it out. I could probably do some sort of other breaking news area. I should set that up so I don't have to use Twitter for that. But Twitter's mainly become my like announcement place now. So if I have, I don't know, a new project or it's my announcement place or a place that I use to air my grievances.
Mm-hmm.
Like about YouTube not doing well or my grievances in general. I don't know why. Why does that draw that? Like if I have a thought and I'm like, this is this is something I hate.
Because that's what Twitter's become. It's become.
Yeah, and I'm like, what place could I put this on?
I used to have in my Twitter profile aspiring GIF influencer.
Oh yeah.
I love.
Did you not leave that?
I got rid of it. Now it just says the podcast stuff. I love responding to people with just GIFs. I love it. I love GIFs. Big fan of GIFs and memes.
You know what's funny? I feel like GIF posts don't get pushed as much.
Probably.
I don't know why.
I feel like my interaction on tweets, unless it's like a picture of Melody, get like Melody pictures, thousands of likes. A random thought or tweet, I get like 15 likes, which I don't care, but it's just funny to see if it's getting pushed.
The things I get the most engagement on are random thoughts or grievances.
Not me.
That's all people care about.
Yeah.
Which I guess is cool that people care more about my thoughts and things that annoy me on there.
Because there's things I still like about Twitter. There's a lot of good things about social media and the app itself, but it's become a lot different and just filled with crap. Because like you said before, it's a place where people go to air their grievances and negativity, and between just people and companies and politicians and other celebrities, it's just, I feel like it's become everyone's like social justice thing. Everyone's either like taking up a cause or writing about some political event or world event. It's where everyone wants to make some declaration.
So it sounds like you don't like Twitter.
I hate it.
Then why are you on it?
I'm addicted because it's like you said before, it's my source of news.
but find a new source of
You
news.
too.
But I'm not addicted to Twitter.
Oh, well.
I'm barely on it.
Yeah.
I said I use it to like check in on news maybe once a day.
Because there's still good stuff on it, but that percentage of good is down to like
I would say most of it is not good. The
30% max.
The only good I find is, funny enough, when somebody else is complaining that like their YouTube views are down. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's helpful because I felt this way. And now I don't feel alone. And it's not just me.
Yeah.
That's literally the only like positivity that I find from Twitter nowadays. I can't think of one other. Oh, besides people making fun of us stuff.
Yeah.
Like when World War III was trending and people were posting funny memes about it. It's like dark humor. It's just like, oh yeah,
that's
we're all
good,
screwed.
That's a good example of how quickly false news. So at first everyone was like, oh, Russia was trying to hit Ukraine and their missile hit Poland and it ended up being a missile from Ukraine.
Yeah.
So all these news like, oh, Russia's attacking. And it's like, oh no, we had it wrong. It's like,
okay. So Twitter is also not a reliable source.
Absolutely not.
You said it was 15 minutes ago.
I didn't say it was it used to be more reliable. It's for sure.
I would say it's the most unreliable because it's happening in real time without fact checking.
Exactly. Everyone wants to be first.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with sports, like sport news and updates. Everyone's like, oh, I got to get this tweet out. It's like, oh, I had mistakes or it's wrong or whatever. Like so a new guy signs a contract and they get the information wrong. And it's this obsession with everyone needs to be first because so that their tweet goes on the news. And it's like, oh, Adam Schefter from ESPN reports, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why they all want to be first. Like, just give it another 5 minutes.
Twitter has an actual very small daily user base compared to like most other
But I feel
things.
like most people use Facebook for friends and family, whereas most people use Twitter for everyone, every celebrity, whatever, influencer, politician, whatever. They're following all these people. Whereas I feel like I'm probably wrong because I haven't used Facebook in years. But
what?
That
people are using friends and family? No, there's a lot of I've been going back to Facebook more because I've been following pages, like local pages.
Yeah.
So I can find out things that are happening locally and make fun of neighbors for posting ridiculous things.
Yeah.
All right. They're trying to be more like, friends and family community based, I guess.
I can tell you, I know when it changed. I know when Twitter.
When?
2016.
Oh, with the election? I was like, what happened in 2016?
When Donald Trump became president, everything changed. Politics became a sport. I said it then that politics became like a rooting. Trump made it like a sport where it was Yankees versus Red Sox, a big rivalry. It's like you either are for one side or the other and you hate the other side, regardless of any, there's no rhyme or reason. It's like, oh, they're different from me. I hate them. And that's when everyone started getting super negative, super bad. It just, everything changed since then. I'm not blaming Trump, but I'm saying that's when it changed. It changed when he became president and everyone started this crazy negativity. Everyone started fighting. Oh, you believe this. I'm this way. I hate you for this. And there's no discussion anymore. It was just everyone hated everyone. It became these little bubbles of, all right, I have my group and we're going to hate this group. And there's no in between.
I feel like that existed. It just probably was more vocal.
It became a lot more vocal and a lot more problematic.
Or people felt safer to come out and say bad stuff.
Because I think what happened is that Trump was able to successfully use social media to gain people to vote for him. And then other politicians were like, oh, we can use it as well. So a lot more politicians and a lot more people in notoriety started using it to manipulate people.
I think that it went downhill after the media started taking people's tweets and like showcasing them.
Yeah.
Like this person said this and this, I don't know. Like,
you mean just like cancel culture stuff or?
No, not cancel culture. Like the news, I don't know. Like the news at one point started reporting on tweets as if they were like
reliable sources,
the most important reliable sources of things, or like what that person was actually thinking.
Because you're getting unfiltered for most of it, especially back then. Like people, celebrities, whatever, would tweet stuff without going through like the PR team. It would just be unfiltered words. Now it's obvious, people.
Well, that's what's weird because people look at Twitter. Well, what I meant was the news reports on tweets and things that people are saying as if that's the collective majority of what people are thinking.
Yeah.
But it's not. Twitter is such a small vocal minority that when you go out in the world, you're like, oh, you also don't think that way?
Yeah.
Like you think more like me? Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, because I thought everybody was like like, I feel like, especially older generations that aren't on Twitter, when they report on it, they're like, this is what the younger generation thinks. And it's like, no, that's just what really loud people on Twitter
And
think.
text does not convey emotion as well. So when you're talking with someone, even if you disagree on something, you probably agree on most things. But if I said one sentence, you'd hear my emotion behind it. But when I write one sentence, it's more, oh, you said this, so it's this. So that's what I always had a problem with, either texting people, like trying to convey emotion. It doesn't do a good job of it, in the same with tweets.
It's funny too. I feel like Twitter is my smallest group of followers or viewers from the channel. And it's also where I get like the most negative
for sure
stuff. And what's funny is sometimes the people, the funniest is if I tweet something and then somebody responds back in a really negative, trolly way, I'll usually check their profile and they're not following me. Yeah. Meaning they were just searching for those keywords and then came across my tweet, was like, I'm going to pick a fight with this person. Like, I forgot, I wrote something. I'll never forget it. I responded to something. I think it was like some misogyny guy that was being an obvious troll and saying something about, that women, you should never date a woman with fantasy color hair because they're like a crazy person or something. Yeah. And so I wrote something, and then some random man responded to me and was like, sorry, you're gonna like die alone and broke or whatever, because you'd rather, like, no man's ever gonna want you and you're never gonna get hired by a job. And I was like,
I remember I tweeted at it and then they responded back to me saying something. I was like, wow. Yeah.
I wrote back, I was just like, not that it's any of your business, but I'm married. Yeah. So, and also I have my own very successful business. Yeah. But yes, like all those things are going to just slip through my fingers because my hair is purple. Yeah. Like, it's so dumb. I'm just like, how do you think this way?
It's because, like I said before, it's just these emotionless text of quick statements. There's no.
Well, it's also, it's an easy fix for people who like hate their lives. Yeah. I'm just going to straight out say, like, the majority of those people who are like, straight up just hating on strangers for no reason are people who are not happy with their situations, or maybe had, I don't know, a pink-haired girl like be mean to them once and tell them they were ugly, and they were like, you know what, all fantasy colored hair girls are terrible, and then they just like go off to make themselves feel better. But like, that's basically always stems down to like when men, especially, I know we're getting a little off topic, but not really, because Twitter is like this. But like men who are like straight up super mean to women for no reason, especially like women that are really good looking, and they're like, oh, you're ugly, you're fat, like get off. It's usually because either they're getting denied in real life by women, so they're like, or their mother was terrible to them. Like, there's always like something that happened. So I always remind myself of that. I'm like, this isn't about me. This is about this person.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not worth it to even. That's what I think I've gotten a lot better at, especially in the past couple of years, is learning just to not engage as much, because it doesn't matter. Me commenting back to someone, trying to debate them, prove my point, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change that. They have to change as a person.
You're not going to change someone's mind or opinion. When you're having a conversation, you might be able to, because you can go back and forth, but just on text, it's dumb. It's a zero-sum game.
Do you remember this girl was like, there was a girl like years ago, I still remember, she was calling me out about something dumb. So I quote tweeted her and wrote and was like, this is really mean of you to say. And then basically like explained why she was wrong and what she said. And then she responded back and said, oh my God, now I'm going to get bullied by your community. You're a terrible person for basically that she could say whatever she wanted, but because I wrote back to her, I'm now forcing people to like come after her. I don't even think I quote tweeted. I think I just replied to her to not even put her on blast. Yeah. But she was basically saying, and then people came to my defense and were like, she replied to you, and so you're upset because she like told you how it is, and now you're upset because people are like coming at you.
I think a lot of people will do that.
It's like, don't write publicly if you're not gonna be able to take the criticism.
Don't
back.
Say something if you don't want to get an answer, essentially. Because even when someone said something about our podcast and they tweeted about it, and I wrote back and was like, sorry you felt this way, it wasn't my intention. I was 100% waiting for them to reply, and they haven't said anything back. I'm like, do you think, I'm like, curious.
Maybe they just wanted an apology?
Yeah, they could have. It was just, yeah, it could have worked. Maybe that was the one time in history where
an apology.
and they're like, oh, good. Thank you. That's all I needed.
Yeah, it's fine to educate somebody. I don't mind being educated. If somebody was like, hey, this thing that you said was like really upsetting, it would probably change my mind next time. I would think about that, but like in a nice way, being like, hey, this was like an upsetting thing, just so you know, this is why.
Yeah.
Like, not you're a terrible person because you didn't know this.
But that's the problem with Twitter and social media is that that's few and far between. You have rational conversations or debates. It's people just want to say their quick point and they get so offended so quickly. When in real life, when you're having a conversation with someone, that's just not how it goes. When
we were talking about real world events happening in real time, there was a couple things that like I remember being on Twitter for in real time that were both funny and or horrible.
Yeah.
Like I still remember the Fire Festival, seeing that unravel in real time.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
I mean, I feel bad for everybody. Don't get me wrong. But it was kind of also hilarious at the same. Now that we know that like everybody was fine in the end and stuff, but like as it was unraveling, you're like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
People were like posting pictures of like the cheese sandwiches and like the tents, and we're like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Well, that's one of the good things about it is that you're getting, like I said earlier, you're getting direct from the source. So people who were there.
That's where it's better when you're getting from real people that are actually at these like big things that are happening. You get like. No time in history have you ever been able to collect that many different. That's why they said even for the cicada thing, they said this was like the first time in history when cicadas were coming out and that they'll be able to get documented information from people all over the world because everybody's going to be posting about it so that scientists could kind of see like, okay, the cicadas were here. Like, what did they look like? How many of them were? And they said it was like the first time in history they could have that much information about these like insects. So it's good in that respect when it's something big and you get to see everybody's real perspective about it. I mean, there's also people who like post fake stuff during that sucks. Like some real event will be happening and somebody will post something. You're like, oh my God, this is what's happening. And then somebody will reply and be like, no, this happened back in like 2000, like whatever. And you're like,
when there was their hurricane that recently went to Florida and there's like a video of a shark swimming like in like a flooded area.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
And then ended up being like an old video.
Yeah,
but that's what's good though, is you also can see like, oh, okay, these people are good. Like, here's video. Like, it's not bad. Or like, wow, this area's getting bad. Maybe like, we need to go help them.
But then there's also times like I remember the worst time I was on Twitter was during the
June
like
6th?
Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
No, June 6th. I stayed away from everything. January 6th.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that a little bit.
Oh, well, you can
go ahead.
No, this is way worse than that. Well, both equally bad, but for different reasons. But like the Las Vegas shooting, you were sleeping, and I remember waking up and just looking at all like the real. Oh no! Sorry, it was the night before. So I was in bed. You fell asleep early, and I couldn't fall asleep because it had just happened because of the time difference between us. So I was live watching like the feedback of this Las Vegas shooting. There's people like posting videos of being there and like hearing the gunshots and stuff. And I remember I remember going through it and like just being addicted in a way that like I couldn't explain. And I just felt horrible the whole time.
It's so real. It's not, you're seeing.
But you're hoping for like good. I guess you're hoping to find good, but you just keep finding bad. Instead, you just keep doom scrolling and you're like, oh my God, the world's so messed up. But yeah, that was that. Like, I'll never forget that night of scrolling through and seeing like real photos and videos from people before they were like actually filtered through. It was like horrifying. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Twitter's good for breaking news like that. And you do get
but you also see things that you might not.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't have seen, but you just also have to, understand you're seeing unfiltered images and videos and stories from people that are there and got to be ready for it. So the other like big turning point for me personally, but I also think what really got Twitter spiraling even worse, just in general with the world and politics, was January 6th, because that was where everyone was going to just spew their unfiltered hatred and opinions about what was happening. And I'll never forget.
I wasn't on it. I was pregnant and trying to stay very calm.
Lauren was.
I was baking bread.
I remember. I don't watch like the actual television news much, but I had it on. I was all into it because it was like.
I told you just to let me know the big points. I was like, if they take over the building, let me know.
Because it was something that like I had when the first after Trump did his speech and people started moving towards the Capitol, I started watching it. I think I was on Twitter and I heard like what was going on. I could put the news on and I just saw everything happening, developing in real time on Twitter, talking about it with my friends and just being so sucked in and just so like infuriated by what was happening in disbelief and just watching it. It was crazy. It was really terrible for, I'm sure, many other people and myself's mental health and everything that happened afterwards. It just, like you said, it's a good thing because you get to see everything in real time, but it's also bad. This is my big thing with social media is we've never had, our lives have never had so much information coming to us at one time. We have to process so much information, so many different people's opinions, so many different things are coming to us.
Well, that's like the thing of when older generations say like things are so bad right now. And it's like, well, have things always been bad and you just haven't seen it?
Yeah, things have always been.
You just didn't see. You also only got fed what the news told you.
Exactly. You get the
you have
filtered
no idea
version.
What actually, like, you'd have to be very trusting of 100% of what they.
And we all, I mean, it's pretty apparent that, you know, news has always been filtered.
I always say
and
that
changed.
now that, like, because I used to work in professional sports and I saw situations unfold. Like when I was in sports, when I was in, I worked at a media company, even with YouTube stuff, like, we see sometimes the back end of like what happens, and then I would see what the media reported on it, and I would straight up be like, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And that was a very eye-opening thing.
Because everything gets twisted and turned.
Wow. So that's why, like, even like let me be very clear. I am not a Trump fan whatsoever. I do not like him. However, whenever people would come out and say that like the news would report things on him, I always took it with like a grain of salt. I'm like, because I knew what it was like to like have something be spun or have something be not told the way that it was. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there was plenty of stuff that was true, but I also knew that there was definitely not every single story that was reported on him was true.
Yeah.
Or was spun like a different way.
Yeah.
So I always like gave that a little bit, but it happens with everybody. Like,
yeah,
they want a good story. So they're gonna.
If Twitter and social media was around when 9/11 happened, I think George Bush's presidency would have gone very differently. Because I remember before 9/11, I'm pretty sure he wasn't like doing great in like popularity.
No, I don't think so.
But then when everyone was like everyone
even Giuliani, everybody loved Giuliani.
Yeah.
Too. Like, what an amazing guy. And that so much has changed with Giuliani.
It's so much has changed since then. But it's just like you said, it's these unfiltered opinions that are good and bad.
I wonder what 9/11 would have been. That would have been crazy.
I mean, you can go back and think of any like crazy
because the only things they had from people were like people who had like actual video cameras back in the day that were out there.
I mean, like Casey.
Could you imagine everybody had phones?
Yeah, I mean, like Casey Neistat has like crazy footage and stuff.
Yeah.
And people had like digital cameras, so you have some on the ground footage and stuff. But yeah, you would have definitely. I think things would have been a lot different.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, Bobby, don't you wish that life came with a user manual to help you, I don't know, not be on social media so much?
Yeah.
And feel better?
That'd be
mentally?
really helpful.
Because social media is not good for you mentally.
No, it's definitely not.
You know that.
I now know.
So it's normal to feel stuck. There's no user manual.
I
There's
do.
nothing to help you get off social media.
I feel stuck. I can't stop opening those apps.
But that's where our sponsor for today's episode, BetterHelp, can help.
I need some help.
I know you do.
I need some better help.
BetterHelp has connected over 3 million people with licensed therapists. It's convenient and accessible anywhere, 100% online. So I personally have had a much healthier relationship with using different social medias and how I feel after using them because I go to therapy. You don't.
I don't.
And that's why you still have problems with social media. And I have a healthier relationship with them. But with therapy, you basically get to learn coping skills, self-empowerment, dealing with trauma, just having you look at the world in a different way than you have been.
As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable.
Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. And if things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler.
No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist.
Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/ZSide.
That's BetterHelp, betterhelp.com/zside.
Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode. Please make sure you check out our sponsors. They are the reason why we can keep this podcast going and for free.
Thank you very much. I think we're going through it now with society, trying to figure out how to utilize social media better, how to use Twitter better. And now we have the Musket coming along, and he thinks he's going to be the savior. I was just going to say,
I was also just thinking, what if someday like Hive really does get big and people point back to this podcast, they're like, they said it. There's never going to be anything. I mean, prove us wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I'll eat crow.
It seemed like a cool concept. Prove us wrong. But like, I've also seen a bunch of
the social media behemoths, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch,
TikTok. Well, TikTok if it stays. TikTok's newer.
Yeah, that is probably the only thing that goes against what I'm about to say is that those behemoths will not be taken down. YouTube will never not be the number one platform for video because it has Google, it has the AdSense, it has the algorithm. Facebook has the most users all around the world. Everyone uses it. And then
I wouldn't say never. I'm sure Facebook thought at one point
things will change. I know. I just don't.
And MySpace was one of the biggest at the time. And
yes, but it was new. There wasn't established like things in there.
Yeah.
Other companies will come along like Hive. And I mean, TikTok is the most recent example. I was not surprised, but yeah, I was surprised.
I got on it as a joke.
Yeah.
And then grew really big on it. And then it became a thing. I was like, oh, I'm kind of cool.
Because
I was an early adopter.
Because there was other short form content platforms. There was Vine.
Yeah, Vine.
There was other stuff, but it just, for some reason.
Well, it used to be Musically, and that never really, it was good, but like with younger people, and then it turned into
TikTok. It's interesting how things like that happen, but
we'll have to have a TikTok episode if they ever end up banning it.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah, what is happening? It's the Twitter stuff that we're gonna talk about in a minute, the Elon stuff, then TikTok. They were like saying they were gonna try and ban it again. It's happening with social medias.
Oh, because what happened? Well, companies and countries and like Russia and China, like communist parties, they're using it to manipulate people and you're using it to manipulate elections. So
yeah, all social media, I feel like.
Yeah, it's all, everyone is, well, that's what's so bad about it is that so many people got bamboozled via social media. They got grifted by fake news and just misinformation and bots, and just people got taken advantage of, especially, a lot of older people and younger people who aren't as social media savvy. People that are around our age, they can more easily like identify something that's either fake or misleading or wrong. But a lot of older people like quickly, they'll see something on Facebook, like, oh, I found this is true. And it's like, no, I looked at it for a second and I know looks fake.
Yeah. Or I just mean, if you're either going to live your life by something or change your life for something, you got to research it. You can't just like, I don't think I've ever seen something on a social media platform and was like, oh, this is right. I'm going to change my whole, like without Googling, I'd be like, oh, I've never heard of this before. Let me like do some research on it.
Especially if it's a big thing. If something that's like, I heard the other day about, because I had really bad sinus infections and I still get them now, but like I had a deviated septum, and I saw some short form video, I think it was on Instagram, about like how people have deviated septums, but then like our nostrils, like one side, because like sometimes your one side of your nostril like be hard to breathe out of.
Sure.
But I quickly saw something about how like it's just like the blood and like it's always kind of like moving and like one side will always kind of be clogged up.
Was it true?
I don't know. I didn't look into it, but I don't put that much stock into it. It's just something that I heard. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's kind of what I'm going through, but it's not a big deal. If I wanted to look more into it, I would.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to take that and be like, oh, now this is it.
Okay, for just a funny example, this is not something that's actually happening. But say like, say you went on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, any of them, and you went on and you were like, you saw like a news article in air quotes that said, cat classes are being taught in school. The teachers are going to start teaching students how to act and think like a cat. Like,
well, did you hear about the kitty litter thing?
Oh, wasn't that a whole like made up thing saying that a person identified as a cat?
And that the school had a kitty litter put in, and it was wrong. It was some parent just.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but some people get so worked up that they'll like talk to people about it. They're like, did you hear that they're teaching cat classes at school. What are they going to do next? And then you're like, are they though? And then you'll look it up for 2 seconds. You'll be like, no, that was not true.
Yeah.
Did you look up any other sources? They're like, well, no, this person said it and they're an accredited person. And I'm like, that means nothing. You need to like, anybody can say they are anything.
Especially when they can pay for verification.
Yeah, that was a bad. Why are you gonna? Do you want to tell everybody about your Twitter plans if you own Twitter? Is that what you want to talk about?
I mean, yeah, but wasn't exactly. I was just trying to say how Elon is one of so.
Well, so Elon buys Twitter.
He buys Twitter, so
he tries to back out of it.
I have a quick little thing that I saved.
Okay.
I did. I actually am starting to read more.
Oh.
So he started in April this year was when he tried to buy it because he bought 9.1%.
This should be scary story number 1.
He bought 9% ownership stake in Twitter, and they
Okay.
invited him to the board of directors, which he initially accepted, but then he declined it. And then he made an offer to purchase the company, and the company tried to do something with a poison pill to resist it, the hostile takeover. But then they accepted his buyout offer of $44 billion. And then they kind of went back and forth on like the spams and the bots. And then eventually, somehow it went through because I think they were going to like sue him for not going through with the deal. And he's like, all right, fine. I'll
just take it.
I have
$44 billion.
$44 billion.
It cannot. Well, it's not worth that much,
It's
right?
definitely
Is that
not.
what they're finding out?
Well, now, and then he took the company private. So you can't trade the stock anymore.
Oh.
So
Because he owns 100% of it?
I guess so, yeah.
Oh.
He bought it. So
Damn, we should have had Twitter stock. We could have got bought out.
I will say before Elon bought Twitter, I was a lot more. I mean, I don't like Tesla cars. I think electric cars are good, but I think Teslas are overpriced and kind of crappy. That aside, I was, I wouldn't say an Elon Musk fan, but I liked him. He seemed like a kind of a cool dude.
He's a quirky guy.
Quirky guy.
Quirky guy.
Now, I think he's trying to change society and politics through Twitter. I think he's trying to do too much. So he comes in, and his first brilliant idea is to let people pay for verification, which when I read that and I showed it to Laura, I'm like, this is bad. This is going to blow up in his face. I told my friends, we were debating, they're like, no, let him try. He knows what he's doing. He runs on like, no, he doesn't know what he's doing.
I will say that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when people who think that, like, people who are rich, they think they have it all figured out and can run anything. It's
just because
like,
you ran other companies.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can take. He doesn't. So my biggest thing is, so he comes in, buys Twitter, thinks he can fix it. Hopefully he will fix it, whatever. Hopefully he makes some good changes. I don't know. But he came in and just thought his view of it, he's not an average user. He's not a normal person at all. He hasn't been for a long time. So he doesn't know how people use Twitter. So he's like, oh, I'm going to let people pay for verification. That's going to equal the playing field. It's like, no, you knucklehead.
What was he trying to fix with that? Just to make money? Or was he trying to
He wanted it so that people would feel like any average Joe could be taken more seriously. He could have like more benefits. And it was, I don't know what his, it was dumb. It was a very dumb idea. And then it blew up in his face.
They said they're pushing back rolling out their paid verification still. I think it's still happening.
Well,
but
I don't know what he's trying to do now.
I think he tried to up the amount. And people were like, I don't think you're understanding that some people will pay $20 a month just to be trolls.
Yeah, it's nothing. For people who...
To get notoriety and to get like people paying attention to you.
Horrible idea. It's not what Twitter is. Twitter verification is for public figures, content creators, celebrities, politicians, whatever. You know this is them. This is their official account. People make fake accounts all the time, but when they don't see the check mark and they know like, oh, okay, this is not it.
Yeah.
But when you get the check mark, people will quickly and easily, like you said before, people just look at something like, oh, this is true. It's a verified source.
I think they should have just had like every other account has a threshold. Like YouTube, there's a threshold. Once you hit it, you can apply.
But that goes against what his thing was. He wanted anyone to be taken. He wanted to equalize free speech or whatever his dumb idea was. So,
but you already have free speech.
Yeah, he
like you can post whatever you want.
He thought verification was a big problem or issue in that.
I think he's just trying to find money.
Yeah.
Then now he's also trying to like make it a creator friendly place.
Which is a good idea, which is part of my... All right, so here's my... If I was Elon Musk and I walked into Twitter and said, let that sink in, this is what I would do.
Oh, yeah. For reference, if nobody's been following this, just give reference in case.
So when he bought it, he went, like, after the deal went through, he went to Twitter HQ with a kitchen sink and walked in saying, let that sink in.
What a quirky guy.
So funny.
What an average Joe.
Hilarious. Here's my plan. If I was Elon, this is what I would do. If you want to make Twitter profitable and you want to change the landscape of it, this is what I would do. So on Instagram, you see a lot of ads, and they're good because they're targeted because they know what you like, they know what you search, and they're often things you might want to buy. Get that system, bring it over to Twitter, and litter it with ads.
Litter it.
I
will say you could put, especially on the desktop one, you could put ads on like the sidebars.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't.
I mean, I go into tweets of just unverified people, and there's a ad underneath people's tweets.
Oh.
I mean, I quickly scroll past it.
Well, that's why maybe they don't work as much because of the quickness of the feed.
So this is what I would do. I would keep it free, but you would have a lot of ads. Every like fourth tweet, every other tweet, there'd be an ad. There'd be a lot of ads. Annoying. I hate ads. I will pay to get rid of ads on whatever platform I can. So that's the free version. Then you have the 99-cent version that cuts all that in half.
Cuts ads in half.
You will get half the amount of ads. You're still going to get ads, but it's half. It's $1 a month.
Okay.
A lot of people will pay for it. In my opinion, I think people would pay that. And maybe you'll get some little bit more features, be able to post higher quality videos, pick whatever it may be. Then you have what they had, Twitter Blue, $5 a month, no ads. You can upload like 1080p or HD, 4K video, whatever other Twitter Blue stuff. That's what I would focus on. And then I would focus on what he's starting to realize is getting another platform for content creators to post and monetize content there.
I actually made a tweet the other day. But by the way, if Twitter doesn't go down, you can follow me on Twitter if you want to hear my random thoughts and grievances about the world. But a perfect example of my experience with Twitter lately was like, I tweeted the other day, I hadn't been on Twitter all day, and then I was waiting for the new Pokemon game to download on my device. I was like, you know what? Let me just check what's going on while I wait for 2 minutes. And I hopped on Twitter, and the trending hashtags were World War III. Oh, and that Donald Trump put in his bid to run for president in 2024.
Yeah, announced his bid, yeah.
And then people were also tagging me in photos of rocks with teeth and telling me to buy it. And I saw all of those simultaneously, and I was like, okay, I'm getting off Twitter.
What is this?
I always I know therapists and people that try to help you overcome social media addiction. What they tell you to do is before you open any social media apps, take stock or take a moment to like take in how you feel before you open it. Like, how are you feeling? Like, thoughts, emotions, physically, mentally, and then take stock into what you feel like once you're done, when you get off social media, and see, because most of the time it's like you feel at least a little bit worse than you felt before you opened it. And that's like that's their way of trying to teach you like that it's not good and you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, very rarely
that's my little tweet. Or that's how I feel with Twitter. Like, Twitter is the one social media I do not feel good when I get off. Like, Instagram, most of the time I'm fine lately because it's a lot of like just photos and funny stuff now that's on mine. YouTube, I feel good because it's all entertainment.
Well, it's
TikTok,
it's content.
Same. Twitter, always, without fail, when I go on it, I'm like, the world's ending. Everybody's terrible. And like, what is there? What is there out there?
Why am I on this?
Why am I here?
Elon, delete it, please.
There's really nothing out there that's exactly like it. Because people were saying, if Twitter dies, where do we go?
You don't need to go anywhere. We have Facebook if you want to do that. We have Instagram. We have social
but there's
media.
nothing that fills the like text thread reply. Like, if I post something on Instagram stories or even Instagram posts, you don't get the feedback that you get.
I think that's something we didn't really talk about was that people feel like they can go and LeBron James can do a tweet and then
you can feel like you have
you can write to him and
even if he never sees it.
You can feel like, oh, he might see this or he might reply to it. It's that feeling of like,
yeah. The other thing I forgot to touch on was when everybody thought it was Twitter's last day, They were just like airing out all their drafts they
So
never
dumb.
said. And people were like, well, goodbye. And everybody was just acting like it was going to implode tomorrow. And it's still here.
People are so silly. Because what he
People give up so fast.
well,
Like, it's
yeah, because
over.
Elon fired like half the people and had some crazy ultimatum, and people left and quit. And then he was like, "Oh, I need you to come back so I can
What do you
log
think
back
about,
into things."
before I tell my one, I do have one scary story,
Uh-huh.
like actual scary story, not Twitter drama scary. But what is your view on Elon's email that he sent out? Like, do you get it? Do you think, because there's some people who are like, yeah, Elon, like, way to try and push people to work harder, like, and then there's some people that think he's crazy and that
He's absolutely batshit crazy. It's Twitter. It's not some like, you're not the sergeant of the army or like the president trying to rally the country. You're
like, if you were a Twitter employee and you got that email, would you have left?
yeah, 100%. I'm like, screw you. Give me severance. I'm out of here.
I think it would depend where I was in life.
It wasn't like Twitter was broken and burning and like everyone come back, we need to work. And like, it's all these problems and bugs. It's like, no, it wasn't that. You made this big issue and then you sent some ludicrous demands of like asking, it's not like you were a sports team and the coach came in and was like, all right, everyone, we're going to do double practices and all this stuff and work real hard. We're so close to our goal. And it's like, no, he's a lunatic. I think he's a psychopath, a functioning psychopath.
I think if he demands that of his employees, though, that he should also be doing it, which I don't know if he is.
I mean, I know he's like a crazy workaholic.
Oh. No, but I meant like, I 100% think he went the worst way about it.
Yeah.
There was way better ways to tell your employees like what you're going to be expecting of them. And like, I don't know. But I was thinking like, if it was me in life right now and that was my job and I had like a kid and I like where I'm in a place in life right now where I don't like, I value my life outside of work way more. But I feel like back in the day when I was in college, I was like hungry to like make something of myself. I probably would have been like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I don't know how long I would have lasted.
It depends where I'm at in my life and whatnot. Obviously.
That's what I mean. Like because I was thinking about it when somebody was, all I had heard was negative about what he had said. And I was on the negative train too. And then somebody was like, no, he just like, he wants to make sure the people that are there like want to work as hard as him. I was like, well, number one, we like as an employee, if you're demanding that of me, I need
show
to also
me,
see that
don't
from
tell me.
my boss. Yeah. Also in a nicer way would have been better. But also,
and I'm pretty sure that was like went against like labor laws.
Oh,
and
I'm
stuff.
sure. He said he wanted, long, intense hours. Like that does not sound fun.
Yeah.
Also, are you compensating?
Yeah, you're
going to
increase my pay
because this is a different
We're
job.
going to
than I
renegotiate
signed
my
up for.
contract.
Yeah, but that's what I would say. I'd be like, I'll stay on, but then I expect more from you. But again, I would not do.
I also wouldn't have done an email.
Yeah,
I would have invited everyone in, had a meeting.
Oh, I said I'm not in agreement of what he did.
No,
I kind of understand what he was doing, but he went about it in the worst way possible.
He is a billionaire who's been a billionaire for a while, who's worked at many other companies and, developed some great technologies. And now he's come into a field that he doesn't know anything about.
But that too, I don't know the field. Like, I don't know if when he wrote that email, I could have been like, I'll just go get a job at Google, and have great hours. And
it's crazy. It's truly crazy and creepy what he's done and what he's trying to do.
I just don't like, it creeps me out in general when there's billionaires that have that much money that they can literally buy Twitter and like do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking up scary Twitter stories that didn't have to do with, Twitter doing things that would ruin the actual real world. I was trying to think of like ghost or scary stories. And I kept getting told about Dear David. Have you ever heard of this?
I don't think so.
The story of Dear David and the haunted apartment. It was in 2017. I will say I do like these. I like long Twitter threads. When somebody is like has a topic and then is like a thread, I get very excited. I will sit and
They can be
read it.
good.
I forget the guy's name. The guy that live tweeted all of Game of Thrones while he was watching it. Because we were also simultaneously watching it for the first time. So I would always like catch up with his live tweets. But anyway, it was a story. So Adam Ellis goes by Moby _dickhead.
Dickhead?
On Twitter. Yeah. Moby _dickhead. Oh, wait, he changed it. Now it's Adam Tots Comics.
Whatever.
He explains why he believes his apartment is haunted by the ghost of a dead child, and his experience so far is giving people the chills. So this was in 2017, and people still talk about it.
Give me some chills.
So I'm just gonna read. So this is legit the Twitter thread. I couldn't even like copy and paste this because it was so all over the place. So my apartment is currently being haunted by the ghost of a dead child, and he's trying to kill me. A thread. If I saw that on my feed, I'd be like, yes, 100%. This is gonna be for me. He started appearing in dreams, but I think he's crossed over into the real world now. The first time I saw him, I was experiencing sleep paralysis and saw a child sitting in the green rocking chair at the foot of my bed. He had a huge misshapen head that was dented on one side. I did my best to draw it. And then he drew like a cartoon child. Boy. Like a very scary
just
looking
picture a creepy cartoon.
With like half his head missing.
With like half of his head dented.
For a while, he just stared at me, but then he got out of the chair and started shambling toward the bed. I couldn't move because I was paralyzed. I have sleep paralysis fairly often. It sucks. In parentheses.
I've had that once.
I've never had that. Sounds terrible. Right before he reached my bed, I woke up screaming. I had another dream a few nights later where I was in a library and a girl came up to me and said, "You've seen Dear David, haven't you?" I was like, who? And she said, "Dear David, you saw him." She continued, "He's dead. He only appears at midnight, and you can ask him 2 questions if you said Dear David first." Then she added, "But never try to ask him a 3rd question or he'll kill you."
Damn. Damn, David.
Obviously, I don't think this was real. Like,
just a story this guy made up?
I think it was just a story the guy made up, but he never specifically says it. So I don't know. This could all just be in his dreams and he's telling us. I was very shaken. Having two dreams about the same thing is pretty weird. Anyway, a couple weeks passed without incident. Then David came back in another dream. Same situation. I was in bed and he was sitting in the rocking chair near the window staring at me. In the dream, I said, "Dear David, how did you die?" Of all the questions.
Yeah.
Could you ask any? What's the meaning of it?
Is there an afterlife?
In the dream, I say, "Dear David, how did you die?" He mumbles, "An accident in a store." I say, "Dear David, what happened in the store?" He groans, "A shelf was pushed on my head." I'm frozen with fear. I asked, "Who pushed the shelf?" David doesn't answer. I realize that I asked a 3rd question, which I'm not supposed to do. At that point, I wake up absolutely terrified. The next couple days, I Googled deaths in the city, but can't find anything about a kid named David dying in a store. I even tried different names: Daniel, Dylan, Devin, nothing. A few weeks go by without incident. Sort of randomly, the apartment above mine is vacated, and I have the opportunity to move into it. It's a larger apartment, so I'm thrilled. Another month or 2 goes by, and I sort of forget about Dear David. I think he lost track of me because I moved upstairs. But lately, something strange is happening. For the past 4 nights, my cats gather at the front door at exactly midnight and just stare at it, almost like something is on the other side.
Oh, man.
He even posted a picture of his 2 cats, just looking below the front door.
Big chills.
Last night, I got a weird feeling and looked out the peephole, and I'm dead certain I saw movement on the other side. When I opened the door and turned on the hall light, nothing was there, but my cats seemed unnerved, bushy tails, etc. And then people are responding like, "Had something similar happen in my apartment with a clown figure. Turns out my stove was leaking gas the entire time, so check to be safe."
Just getting really high.
Just getting really high on gas fumes and assuming that like there's a dead child.
We should do an episode on dreams.
I did hear that they're turning that into a movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Just that thread of tweets.
Yeah.
And that, well, obviously that idea.
That's all it takes.
It's a good idea.
I guess the idea of a Dear David that if you ask him a 3rd question, he murders you. But apparently not, because this guy's still alive.
If you have any stories
on anything,
leave us a voicemail, leave us a text. We've been doing more topic specific things. So it helps when you talk about
a specific topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just be like, I sometimes see things in my closet. We don't need.
What if our topic closets?
I know, but a lot of the stories that we've been getting are very similar. And it's always about people seeing weird things.
Our number will be in the description or the show notes.
Try to be specific about the creepy things you have had encounters with, whether it be
I'm trying to think. There's Yeah, Disney's coming up at some
Yeah.
point. We got a New Jersey one.
Yep.
We have
Talk about dreams.
Dreams.
Yep.
Pets is still on there.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, fitness and weight loss.
Okay.
Or
Talking about-
gyms. Well, one of those. I gotta decide which one. I want to talk
Yeah.
about that like right at the new year. But yeah, that's it. We by the time this comes out, who knows what happened with Twitter? Because it's gonna be another week.
Yeah.
Um,
We might all be on Hive. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Whoever took my username on Hive, I hate you. How could you do this to me? And remember,
Everything is creepy.